This question was one that I thought would generate a lot of discussion. So I posted it on Twitter, and I was right. I had over 200 replies. And it comes to us from Shane in Red Deer, Alberta, Canada. Says, I've been a listener of the podcast since WrestleMania 30. My question is, when their careers are over, who will have had a better all-time career? CM Punk or Roman Reigns? And this got a lot of feedback. Some people thought that this was a slam dunk for Roman. Oh, it's not even close. I don't think it's a slam dunk for anyone. But I do think that Roman Reigns will have the better all-time career, and CM Punk will go down as the more influential of the two. The issue here is that better, right? Better is such a subjective thing. What do we mean by better? Better in terms of business? Better in terms of influence? Better in terms of accomplishments? You know, are we kayfabing it? Because nobody really wins anything in wrestling. You can list off all the championships you want. Nobody wins a championship. But how much faith does the company put in you to lead their brand and to carry the show? WWE has given that responsibility to Roman Reigns. They've given it to him now for years. But it wasn't until he turned heel that he really found his groove. And that was a good 7 years, right? 7 or 8 years into his run. I don't blame Roman for that. He was miscast. A lot of it can be laid at the feet of Vince McMahon and his stubbornness in pushing Roman as a babyface even when the fans rebelled against it. You could say the same thing about John Cena, who was very popular. And then he got shoved down everyone's throats. At the same time, they stripped away a lot of what made him popular in the first place when he was doing the Doctor of Thugonomics stuff. And we ended up with years of, let's go Cena, Cena sucks. Roman Reigns started out in the Shield, right? In a role that had CM Punk gotten his way, would have gone to Chris Hero and not Roman. Vince McMahon made the correct choice there. But the Shield is one of my favorite groups of all time. They carried those shows. Them and Daniel Bryan in 2013 and 2014. They carried those WWE shows on Monday nights. I love that Shield run. And then they split them up, and Roman, you know, he's gone on since then to headline a total of 6 WrestleManias, with a 7th one on the way. One more after that, and he will tie Hulk Hogan, if you count Hogan coming out and beating Yokozuna in 60 seconds as headlining WrestleMania, which I do. And you can say, well, you know, so what? WWE picks and chooses who headlines Mania. Vince McMahon just kept pushing him regardless of whether he was working or not. You know, he just kept putting him in Mania main event after Mania main event. Well, yeah, I mean, that's how it works. How do you think they come up with the people who are in the WrestleMania main event? Vince McMahon typically is the one who makes that call. Now it'll be Triple H. Maybe. It may very well be Vince McMahon, if you have been following the news lately. We don't know how hands-on Triple H will be as far as WrestleMania this year. But that's another story. But that's how it works. And it used to bother CM Punk greatly that he was not picked to headline a WrestleMania. So we know it meant something to him. Roman's done it 6 times. Even though all but 2 of those WrestleMania main events that he has been in have sucked and have been underwhelming. When you're on top that many times, though, on a show like that, history is going to look upon you as being a big star. Someone they trusted to build their company around. That person was never CM Punk until he went to AEW. Roman is having an all-time run right now with the Bloodline stuff. He is in year 3 as champion. He became champion in 2020. We are now in 2023. He has an aura about him now that he never had as a babyface. He's only now really hitting his stride. And he's got more years in front of him in the ring than CM Punk does. Punk is also 7 years older than him and has burned bridges everywhere he's gone. But he also took 7 years off, which I think hurts his standing overall. But let's look at that. Let's look at the argument for CM Punk. The man's body of work before coming to WWE was already very good, especially his work at Ring of Honor. In WWE, it never felt like they fully invested in him. Even when he was on that tear as 434 days, right, as champion, for a good part of that run, at least until he turned heel, he wasn't even main eventing the pay-per-views that he was defending the title on. He was playing second fiddle to John Cena, which is kind of the story, I think, of his entire run there. The pipe bomb promo, still talked about over a decade later, it changed his entire career, changed his life. CM Punk brought back lapsed fans who had long since given up on the product. He was white hot that summer, and his Money in the Bank match with John Cena, it's one of my favorite matches of all time. That match was something special. Roman Reigns has yet to have a singles match that could match that type of magic. The closest thing would be the first match between The Shield and the Wyatt family. And Roman was just one of many people who were involved in that. Punk's body of work in the ring speaks for itself. The matches with Cena, the matches with Daniel Bryan, the match he had with Brock Lesnar, the match he had with The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Punk got a better match out of The Undertaker than Roman Reigns did. I can tell you that. His Ring of Honor matches with Samoa Joe. Before there was ever a summer of Punk in WWE, there was the summer of Punk in Ring of Honor. And then he made his grand return in AEW, and that's another point in Punk's favor. Something Roman does not have, which is demonstrated success across multiple promotions. Roman Reigns is a product manufactured by WWE. He did not start somewhere else and have success there before making it big in WWE. And he likely never will. He'll probably spend the rest of his career working in WWE. He'll be like The Rock and John Cena in that regard. And then he'll end up just like them when he goes off to Hollywood, because that's exactly where he's headed. Punk was a world champion in Ring of Honor. He was a world champion in WWE. And he was a world champion in AEW. And not only a world champion, but someone who had demonstrable success there. He moved numbers for Tony Khan. The First Dance in Chicago sold 15,000 tickets to the United Center, without the name CM Punk even being mentioned on TV even once. But people knew he would be there, and they bought their ticket. Off that buzz, they did over 1 million viewers for Rampage. Rampage! Put 15,000 asses in the seats. He helped get that company its first pair of $1 million gates. Pay-per-view buys were up with Punk on the card. This cannot be denied. He had that great program with MJF, and then a year later, he was gone. Could he still come back and mend fences? Anything's possible. But it looks like his AEW run is over. He could have padded his resume some more, but we may well have seen the last of CM Punk working for a major promotion. So if this is the end of his run, he has had a great run. A big part of that run, though, that cannot be ignored, is that he walked out on one company, even if you think he was justified for doing so, and trust me, I have no sympathy for WWE, but still, he walked out of one company and he flamed out of the other. What happened at that media scrum last year was a disgrace. And it is now forever a part of his legacy. Something else that's part of his legacy is what he and Daniel Bryan did for independent wrestlers. And this is where I think Punk has had the more impactful of the two careers between him and Roman, and what I mean when I say the more influential. Roman Reigns has not influenced a generation of talent the way that CM Punk has. Punk broke down doors that were locked for a lot of smaller guys. I don't even want to say smaller, but guys who came from the indie scene. Today, a good part of the WWE roster made their bones on the indie scene, and there was a time where WWE wasn't much interested in signing independent talent. They just wanted men and women that looked a certain way. It wasn't about how many 5-star matches they had at the local armory. That changed and I know some people hate that, and they actually blame Punk for that as a bad thing. But that changed with the success of Punk and Danielson and the way those two organically got over, which makes it more impressive. They didn't get over so much because WWE pushed them like stars. They got over in spite of their booking in WWE. The people naturally gravitated to them, and they helped make that happen. Were it not for Punk and Danielson, I don't know that we get Kevin Owens in WWE, or Sami Zayn, or Finn Balor. And those are the names that we see on WWE television every single week. Owens, Zayn, Balor, Seth Rollins. That's a big part of Punk's legacy too that has to be taken into consideration. So I don't think it's as simple as saying that one had the better career, because better can mean a lot of different things. When I think of Punk, I think of the pipe bomb. And I also think of the gripe bomb. When I think of Roman, I don't know yet what that one moment is. I don't think he's had it yet. Punk had success in multiple places. Roman had success in just one. But that place that he has had success in just so happens to be the biggest company in the world, and he happens to be the guy on top. Roman is still only 37 years old, and he's in the middle of the best run of his career. He's got a lot more runway left than CM Punk does. You know, if you asked me right now, who has my favorite of the two careers between them, whose work have I enjoyed more, my vote goes to CM Punk. I personally prefer Punk's body of work over Roman Reigns. But that wasn't the question. The question was, when all is said and done, who will have the better all-time career? And the answer is Roman Reigns. So chime in, let me know if you agree.